A lot of people are asking me how much money I got to pay those people to clap. I have no idea. I never met them. But anyway, I'm Roswell Royce Laurie. I'm the creator of one of the world's coolest dance Facebook on this planet. Cool folks who love to bachata. 3 years ago, when I lived in Texas, I wanted to create a unique bachata Facebook for the world's greatest dancers. I came up with some options here. Cool men who love the bachata. I don't want to leave the women out. So, cool ladies who love the bachata. Then I'm being biased. Cool people who love the bachata. I feel old. Cool folks who love the bachata. Yeah, so that's how I got the name. Cool folks who love the bachata. I just came up with some various names and, Texas and stuff. So, folks. Guys, I'm proud of each one of you. It's been 3 years now since you guys been posting your events and your videos, and you guys are doing a wonderful job. I came out to most of your events, especially here on the East Coast, to see how everyone is doing. You guys are doing a great job growing the dance industry. Now that the COVID stuff is kind of behind us, this is your opportunity to go live with me to tell the dance world a little bit more about you and your event. So, I just want to say these interview stuff has been a success. We started to do this shortly after the holidays, but after Christmas and New Year's. And based on the media's review, they asked me if I can continue going live with you guys for the summer because the ratings are kind of going up. So that's good. Last week, we kicked off our summer interviews with Timothy Courier. Timothy, bro, you did a wonderful job. And one of these days, I have to come out to Chicago to say thank you and to give you a big hug for doing a wonderful job. That was a fabulous interview. So thank you, Timothy. Um, this week, we have a line up of more interviews. We're going to bring on my good friend, Christina Piedra, in a few minutes in New Jersey, and then Waldo, all the way in Tennessee. But before I do that, one of the coolest dancers in Mississippi is going to join us in a minute. Blake Mitchell. I haven't had the opportunity yet to meet Blake in person, but I've heard some great stuff about this guy. He's definitely growing the dance industry and encouraging that growth of bachata awareness in Mississippi. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of anyone who can actually do that, just like make it aware, bring new knowledge, bring new culture. I mean, so I'm proud. I'm very proud of Blake for what he's doing. So I asked him if he can please take a few minutes to tell us a little bit more about him and his event. Okay. I want to apologize for starting out late. As everyone knows, I'm highly disorganized, but but I'm still a cool man who loves the bachata. But we're still gonna take these few minutes and talk to Blake. And yeah, so let's take it away. Blake, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Before we start, I just would like to say thank you in advance for taking the time to go live with me, and I apologize for the tardiness. It's just, I mean, I think everyone is kind of used to me by now. I always say I'm going to start something exactly blah blah, and then it starts like 8 hours later. So
You're
I
not a day
apologize.
here on
Okay,
time.
it's not a New York thing; it's just a Roswell thing. Okay, so don't. Okay, New Yorkers don't do that. They're always on time. I just, but please tell us who's that young, beautiful young lady next to you.
So this is Mariana. She is my dance and business partner who's helping me open the studio and kind of restart the Mississippi Latin dance scene. Um, she is a very passionate dancer as well. So there is a severe lack of Latin outlets in Mississippi, and me and her both at the same time decided to change that.
Great, great. Now, when you guys decided to change that, like, how much? Because I know you're in Mississippi, right? I know, here in like the city, like New York and stuff, there's always like support and there's a lot of connections here and stuff. So doing something like that, it's not. I mean, it's not too difficult. But for you to do what you did, the two of you together, I'm sure it wasn't like an overnight process. So how much time and effort and like dedication it takes to do what you guys are doing?
we spent a lot of time just networking and finding which specific studios would be the best outlets to work with, because there's a lot of wants for Latin genres and classes and events, but the want is very spread out. So the challenge we're having is bringing all of these spread out people who want bachata and salsa classes and other Latin genres and trying to slowly get them to come all into the same place.
But how is it possible to get them to I mean, one of the questions I was going to ask you in a few minutes is about collaboration, how dancers can support one another and stuff. And you're starting out the conversation on that, collaboration and support. To get anything started, from the ground up, it takes a lot of, networking, like you said, a lot of like, okay, what? You want me to call you back? Sure. What time? Oh, I just called you back. Oh, oh, look, I'll call you back again. Back and forth, back and forth. Um, so, how, someone like me who doesn't do like, how do you actually start that process? Is it just like being organized, having patience, being like, okay, I'm trying to get, the message that this guy doesn't want to be
Well,
cut. How do you, you know?
the one way that I've had some success, growing success, is reaching out to the localized social media groups. So, for example, every city around us has their own Facebook page. I reach out to every single one of those Facebook pages, post about the classes, see who comes up. And another thing that we're doing is we're actually going to start teaching at 3 different studios here locally. And that is that many more people we're reaching. That way, when we have an event, we have 3 different studios we're advertising this event at and giving that much more people the outlet that they're wanting without necessarily turning their back on the studio they're already a part of.
Okay, great, great. Studios and stuff that you get involved with, like Thursday night, for example, you have like a bachata and salsa social that you teach, or you're one of the instructors. Like how does it feel? The reason I'm asking you these weird questions is because number one, I've never been, I've never been to Mississippi and stuff in those areas, and I know, like, I didn't think, Mississippi is, would be open to, like, like salsa, bachata. I just thought it was, you know, and forgive me for being so close-minded. I thought it was like line dancing and like, not even tango. Just maybe some disco. You know what I'm saying? Am I
So
wrong for saying that on public air? I just didn't
you're
think
I mean,
Mississippi
you're
would
not,
get there yet. You know?
yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there is a lot of line dances, a lot of line dance, country dance, and there's actually a good ballroom community that's actually where we're trying to start teaching at a ballroom community to introduce them to salsa bachata. And there is tango, in case you didn't know, because I tried tango. I've tried other styles, but we love salsa bachata, and we really want to have that here. Um, and what we've been doing, we've been going to New Orleans. That's the closest place where we've been getting a little training, a little networking as well, social dancing. But we want to be able to bring that here. And that's why I think it's great what he's doing. He's really good at network, by the way. He talks to everybody. So
Yeah, he's trying to get me to come there to hang out with the Gators. Did he tell you about the conversation we had a month? I think like a month ago. I told him. Yeah, and I think you were telling me, Roswell. Yeah, it's coming back to me. You
Yep.
were telling me, Roswell, as soon as you come to Mississippi, this is what we're gonna do, man. We're not gonna go to a dance club or whatever. We will, but not on the first arrival. So I said, where we're gonna go.
Swamp tour.
And I can hang out with a gator. Or what did he say? A gator or alligator or something. I want to take in a gator boat. Was it a gator boat you said, or a
Yep.
gator ride?
Gator Boat Swamp Tour.
that's him. Yeah.
You could have imagined my reaction because I was in a park walking around and, the typical serious New Yorker type. And I wasn't in a mood for jokes. I was in a crappy mood. So I said, bro, are you for real? And he's for real. He wasn't joking around. He meant it. He
Yes.
meant it. So, I never really, nose to nose with anything, crawling on their belly and, So what is that like? I mean, what is it like to actually um, encounter one of those stuff? And like, I mean, it's not like when you teach someone or you teach them how to go 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. I mean, like when you encounter, like an alligator or something or like that, what goes on in your head? Like, what are you thinking that maybe they can
So,
dance, they know what they're doing, or like what?
and it actually has a lot to do with the mindset of dance. It's understanding intention with the animals. So if you understand the intention of your partner, whether you're lead or follow, you can read them a lot better. If you don't understand the intention of the other party, there's going to be a lot of miscommunication. So I can take that same mindset or psychology, whatever you want to call it, and put it with any snake that I'm working with or any alligator I'm working with.
Mhm.
If an alligator is being overly aggressive or defensive, I know, all right, if I back off and give it some space, eventually it'll calm down and realize I'm not a threat. Also, if I hold my own though a little bit, it also realize I'm not food. And then that conversation can start working in terms of this gator is now in captivity, unfortunately, due to people feeding it, or Parks and Wildlife just didn't like where it was, so it had to be brought into a sanctuary.
Mhm.
That means people have to interact with this animal. I will come in and make that animal more people friendly in orders to for that animal to be able to educate others. So my experience with reptiles has always been about number one, educating, and number two, I love building the relationship and that sense of trust, whether it be a reptile or a mammal. A lot of people say reptiles don't have a sense or same level of emotion as a lot of other animals, but they still can sense intention. If they think you're going to do them harm, they're going to be a little wary of you. If they know you're not going to do them harm, they're going to be a little less agitated and defensive. Same argument can be made for dance. If your partner thinks you're going to harm them, communication is not going to be very well.
So that's why, let's see, this girl last week and the girl 2 weeks before. And this is the reason a lot of those women, they're like, so back off, Ross, but we ain't dancing with you. Now, it's not because I didn't look good or I didn't smell good. It's because of that, that animal instinct stuff. They probably think that, you know, this guy is like, he's going to step all over me and all of that stuff. So, but I'm just thinking about that. I mean, I know I'm being a little funny here, but what you just said makes in a logical world it makes sense because I didn't even think about that answer you were going to give. I just thought you were going to say something, but if everyone can seriously take a step back, think exactly what Blake said, it does make sense, and it's very transparent, with the example of you and the gator and you or me or whoever, and come in and encounter with someone that we never met before on a dance floor, and they don't feel, if, like the gator stuff, they don't feel that, they feel that defensive type of attraction, and that's not a good way to start things out. So you brought up a good point, and that's a little bit related to comparative psychology. When I was doing my undergraduate, I took a course called comparative psychology, where how animals, okay, birds, gators, tigers, whatever, raccoons, how they are actually similar to the life that human beings live on this earth. How we work, how we talk, how we eat. We're exactly like them. I mean, we're not exactly like them in a sense. We look like them, we crawl like them, we're like, we make funny sounds, but we are. That's a little bit of psychology where you were heading to. So. That's great. And I'm just one of the reasons, Blake, I wanted to bring, everyone, Cool Folks Love to Bachata, give you guys a chance to talk because of this. When you guys share your postings, it's only postings, you know. So we really don't know more of the dance world until we hear it from you guys. You agree? You know,
Yes,
this is a good example why, you know, I'm doing these interviews, not just for publicity, making you guys look good, making media look good, but we are learning. We just learned something. You know, we just learned something how the dance world is very, very, very similar, you know, to, you know, species and animals and gators and all the reptiles and all of that stuff, you know? So I mean, I'm happy. I can't speak for everyone else who's listening, but you know, that is something worthwhile thinking about. You know, for um, now the Miss. Sorry if I'm saying it incorrectly. Mizizi Weekender,
yes.
Juneteenth. It just happened in New Orleans. And by the way, Rico Paris, if you're listening, I know you know. I one of these days I have to come to New Orleans because you know he told me, Ross, we gotta come down. You know? So Rico, if you're
We
listening,
actually saw Rico's picture in your intro, and we love Rico's events in New
yeah,
Orleans.
he's a good guy. He's like, Roswell, you gotta come. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. I will, bro. But how did that name come up? Mizizi, please. I'm embarrassed to even pronounce it because I
So
can't talk straight. What?
Mizizi was a really cool event. I wasn't directly involved. I was more so just a what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, I was just there to enjoy the event. But Mizizi is the African word for roots. And the entire event, every class was exploring the African roots of salsa and bachata, whether it be the instruments, the beats, the steps, how partner work began getting initiated into genres like kizomba and zouk, um, and exploring the basically the origin story of a lot of the genres that we enjoy today, and especially the musical side of it.
Okay, okay. Now the musical side of it is it like how did it came about? Like where did it? Because I know a lot of people are telling me that you know, bachata, for example, you know, it's the DR stuff. And I had a course uh, in bachata, the history, and someone said, who said it? He said it originally originated from, was it Africa or Cuba? I forgot where. Not really a DR stuff. It didn't, you know, it originated way back, you know, like way, way, way back. And I think it goes to before Spain and before Cuba. I think it was in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So where did that, like, how did that origination became known to, you know?
My understanding of bachata is that it is an evolution of merengue.
Okay.
Um, Now, merengue's origins, I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak on, but bachata was evolved from merengue music. Um, and then banned because it was seen as inferior or not as high class as what the dictator at that time wanted. So it got a negative connotation to it, and now it's all over the world again. That's kind of like the short version of
Okay.
it.
No, yeah, I'm happy you said that. And the reason I'm asking is because, you know, I never had like music appreciation or any of those like art classes. As everyone knows, you know, I'm a legal guy. You know, I've been working in legal, social science, legal. I'm all about, you know, so I never really had like art courses, dance courses, music appreciation, you know. So I think one of the reasons I asked you that question, so, you know, I could learn, you know, a little bit about history, about music appreciation and dance because, you know, I really don't know about these things. So I'm happy that you shared that with me, you know, and the rest of us. Um, I want to ask you real quickly when you were an intern a while ago, right? Maybe
Yes,
not
sir.
that long, a while ago. Gator County. You were an intern at Gator County, and I know you did not intern gators. Maybe you did.
I
What?
was an intern at Gator Country.
Okay.
Gator Country is in Beaumont, Texas, just outside of Houston. They are a alligator sanctuary for nuisance alligators. So Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, all of these southern states, pretty much everything south of Tennessee, has an issue with these things called nuisance alligators. Basically, what happens is alligators are very evolutionarily afraid of people.
Hmm.
We're these weird things on two legs that they just don't like. It looks funny and we're too much effort to eat. On the other hand, when the weird thing on two legs keeps giving you free KFC, your association changes because you're reading a different intention than be fearful of this thing, stay away. So
Okay.
it's kind of going back to that intention. Weird thing on two legs has the intention of feeding me. Gonna start seeking out and getting closer to the thing on two legs. That leads to a lot of issues. So then those gators are called nuisance gators. And at that point, they have two options. They either go and get captured and brought
Mhm.
into captivity to live out in sanctuaries such as Gator Country, or over in Florida is Gator Chris's place over in Florida. Here, there's a several alligator sanctuaries. It's either that option or Parks and Wildlife of the local area will go and put that animal down. So the alligators that I worked with were all nuisance alligators. Um, and we want those alligators to be okay to be handled, but as well as we use these animals since they're in captivity for enrichment and education, to put on educational feeding shows to show off, number one, the power of these animals, deceptive amount of beauty in these animals, and how intelligent they are. And then we also preach, leave them alone in the wild. You want to come play with the gator, come hold a baby gator at Gator Country. Leave the wild ones alone so they can stay wild.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I can relate with that. It's like, I was just telling someone a couple days ago, um, was it my nephew or someone about just advice, like a snake, just, a snake is a snake, right? If you see like a circle of snakes, like in the center of where you are, and you have to, you know, get to work or meet somebody or whatever, instead of trying to like go through it or battle it or like, whatever, go around it,
Yep.
like, and my point of my story is that, things are what they are, kind of similar to the example you were given. It is what it is, but it's good to accept that and just try to learn from that scenario or that thing and try to see how, your interest or what you're trying to accomplish, can still happen despite that obstacle or that thing that you're facing, because they're one mindset compared to your mindset, so, and they're not going to change their mindset and you're not going to change your mindset. And it's good to realize that. And I know what I'm saying is kind of weird and it's redundant and it's elementary, but again, taking a step back, similar to what you're saying, it's good to be aware of things that we're not aware of. It was good to like take like a minute or two to analyze or learn more about that thing or that object or that species or whatever, because it maybe could help you in the long run or could maybe help you better understand it, so it can maybe you can learn more about you or whatever. I know that's kind of weird for to tell dancers and stuff and to sit and talk about it, but whether it's snakes, whether it's gators, whether it's dancers, whether it's a car, whether it's the ozone layer, it's good, for the dancers to actually, you know, take a step back and learn about things that are unfamiliar to them and see how it can still be a benefit to them. So I know that's kind of a weird discussion we're having, but I think based upon what you're saying, I just wanted to say that I appreciate you, making it aware that there are things out there that we should not, be totally afraid of or run away from, but just to learn from, and and still see if that can somehow benefit us or how it can, you know, make us go about to what we want to do. Speaking about stuff that we want to do, the main reason I wanted to have you here, not only to talk about Mississippi and gators and all of that stuff, but events. What are some major events you guys want to share with everyone that are coming up?
So in the Mississippi area, since we're kind of building this community back from scratch, not too many big events, but we are going to be starting a once a month Latin night at a local uh, business. We have 3 or 4 different businesses that we're deciding on which one to work with. So that'll be the first Latin night since pre-COVID, um, as well as we plan on traveling. We plan on performing in the Georgia Bachata Love Congress on Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay.
Um,
We're gonna teach in Hattiesburg.
we're teaching at Mississippi State University in Hattiesburg in September.
Southern Miss.
So, sorry,
That's a different
Southern
one.
Miss. There's like 5 Mississippi. There's like 5 state universities. I get them confused. As well as we will be participating in a nonprofit fundraising event at a place called Ground Zero next month on the 10th. Ground Zero is actually a local blues bar opened by Morgan Freeman. And the nonprofit that will be there to help support and raise money for is called Mississippi Heroes, which works to acknowledge and help any type of first responder, whether it be nurses, firefighters, police, everything down to hospice workers and child care services. Mississippi Heroes aims to acknowledge and help any of those parties, and we definitely want to be a part of that event and supporting those people. And we also might get to meet Morgan Freeman if he decides to pop up for the event.
I would love to meet that guy. I grew up with him. I'm a little older than you guys. I grew up like in the 70s and 80s. Morgan was like one of my, besides like Tom Cruise and Denzel Washington, he was like, was up there. So, God, I should come take a picture with him. But guess what? I'll be at that the festival, Thanksgiving Eve.
Yes, sir.
But the Mike Orana's Love Bachata. I'll be there.
Bachata Love. We plan
I
on
will.
having a really cool performance.
I already purchased my ticket like months ago, because I used to live in Atlanta since November, so I got to know the community, and I got to know Mike and everyone else, and they're doing a great job growing the dance industry, bachata, salsa. They're doing a mambo. So yeah, I will be there definitely, and that's my birthday weekend. Actually, I will see the
Nice.
two of you. Yes, so
Tequila
you're gonna
shot
see me. Yeah, and I'm gonna look good. I'm gonna shave. I'm not gonna wear my hat. So I'll take pictures with the 3 of you. Well, I mean the 2 of you, but I keep thinking Morgan might show up. Maybe he might show up. Maybe he's listening to me, bro. Show up. I'm
A
gonna
lot of
shave.
New Orleans people are going to be there too. So
Yeah.
you'll probably see Rico there. Our good
Yeah.
friend Josh from Dance a Lot Studios
Yeah.
plans on going, and a bunch of other people from New Orleans. Hopefully, we'll be having a good amount of students by then who will want to travel with us, and we can bring all of Mississippi in hordes to Bachata Love as well.
Yeah, we're also we're gonna we've talked about it a little bit. There's gonna be other events coming up soon. Also before then, like the Brujeria one in New Orleans. That's a bit. I think they started last year, and they're gonna have another one this year. Brujeria is like a Halloween salsa bachata congress. And then I'm performing in Bayou Movimientos weekender coming up in August. So I'll be teaching and performing on
What
that.
weekend is that? What weekend is that?
Um, it's August 20 something. let me see. Let me check 1 second. It's August 24th through the 27th.
Do me a big favor. Please share that on my
Of
phone. The
course.
Cool Folks Love to Bachata, so I can make it as an announcement. Okay, because that's that's important, and I mean it's important because I said it's important, and I want everyone to go. No, no, but I mean, please share it. Seriously, please share it so people can be aware of it. And that's great. Um, I want you guys to continue sharing your postings. Okay. I know we ran up a little behind time because I'm so sorry, but I want you guys to please come back and talk with me again for another
Yes.
interview, and if you guys have another major, maybe before November, before I see you guys for Thanksgiving, say, Roswell, let's do it. Make sure you're on time this time because the Gators and we'll do it. I'm seriously, I'm going to do something with Wendy and Rodrigo again, so I don't mind going live with you again. You guys are great people, very personable. I can feel your energy. I never met you guys before, but I'm very good at feeling people's karma and their energy. And first thing I noticed about Blake, is just your voice. It was like you seem so cool and stuff. So and I want you to tell people more about the growth that you guys are contributing to in Mississippi. Okay, so nonprofit. Real quickly before we go. I'm a doctoral person. I'm doing my dissertation in human services. So non-grant writing, nonprofits, that is something I'm fond of. I like to make a difference in people's life. Like I'm doing with Cool Folks. I mean, not everything should be conditioned. People should just do stuff because it's the right thing to do, right? Blake, with nonprofit, I want us to continue that conversation soon to see how I can maybe help you. I can maybe help share stuff on Cool Folks, the webpage, so that I want other dancers to get involved with stuff besides dancing. So you gave me a good idea. So please, 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 please follow up with me because my mind is But nonprofit is something that I tremendously admire. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about the other stuff, but it's a basic question I ask everyone. People write it down and they know what they're going to say. But I wanted to thank both of you, okay, for taking the time to go live with me, and I invite both of you to please come to New York to hang out with me, if it's possible, this summer. If not, I will see you guys when I come down south, and I'll plan a trip to Mississippi. Okay,
We want to come see snow.
I want to see the Gators. Heck, well, I want to prove to Cool Folks who love the bachata, I am cool man who loves to hang out with the Gators. I want to, I just got to shave. I don't want to be like, oh, this guy. I want to look pretty and presentable to those Gators. Have a good night, and I will talk to you in a little bit. I just gotta, do another interview with someone else before they're like, well, where are you? You're late again. But have a good night, guys, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Share your posting, Mariana. Okay, I'm looking for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Peace. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.